A dance that has no rules and places a big emphasis on improvisation. The West Coast Swing is a dance that's evolved from the time it was conceived and continues to evolve even today.
Well, the dance originated, as its name suggests, on the west coast of the United States and became so popular that in 1988 it was made the official state dance of California.
And this morning we've got three people with us who are great fans of the dance and experts at it. Hi there, guys.
Good morning, and I believe you're going to give us a bit of a demonstration a bit later on, but we'll save that till the end. Now, this dance has its roots in Lindy Hop. What is Lindy Hop?
Lindy Hop. Well, that actually derives much earlier on, 1940s, big band era, traditional swing music, very high energy.
Okay.
Right.
So what's West Coast Swing then?
So West Coast Swing has its roots in Lindy Hop, so we have very similar rhythm patterns. However, West Coast Swing is a little bit more smoother. We dance much more upright. We dance in what we call a linear slot, so we tend to dance in very tight spaces as well.
Okay, so it's very modern.
It's very modern, yes.
Now, I understand one of the differences about West Coast Swing is that instead of the men leading, it gives the female partner a lot of movement to express herself as well. So how does this, tell us a little bit more about this.
Does that come into play a little bit?
Exactly.
Right, it can get kind of confusing that way. There is definitely still a definition of a leader and a follower, absolutely. So the difference being that there's much more room for a conversation to occur. So the leader is not quite always the dominant force in the dance. He can absolutely initiate and indicate, you know, please come with me, dance with me. But the follower also has her own say in things as well, her own interpretation of what he's asking her to do.
It's almost like a relationship in a sense. Right. You know, there's a getting to know each other phase, and then both people are talking. Yes. So it's not just the guy does all the talking and then the lady does all the listening.
Okay, but you don't necessarily have to have a partner to begin with, do you? I mean, it's a social dance as well, so you can dance with anyone. Is that correct, Chuck?
Absolutely. That's what makes this dance so exciting, that we can dance with anybody around the world. That's what's so attractive to this dance.
Well, what is the attraction to you anyway? What's the essence of this dance? How would you describe it to anyone out there?
This is one of the only social dances that can be done to all types of genres of music, from blues to swing, traditional swing music, to most importantly contemporary music, stuff that you hear on the radio.
Yeah.
That's what attracts so many people to this dance. Versus some dances like maybe salsa, which is an amazing social dance, but it's pretty much dance to salsa music.
Yes.
So that's what I like about the dances is the versatility of it.
Right.
Well, it sounds like there's a lot of flexibility to the rules, but is it maybe dangerous that it could become a free-for-all?
You know, we do have structure in the dance. There is a base structure that we teach, but within that structure we're able to be very creative. A lot of improvisation and a lot of differences. So everybody has a different body type and the way they move, and West Coast Swing leads itself to allow that to happen. So that's what makes it so exciting.
Okay. Well, Z, take us through some of the technicalities of it. I mean, you say that it can be played to any kind of music, any genre,
Yes,
but don't you have to follow a certain beat or rhythm? How does it work?
Typically, a lot of music has what you call a 4-beat structure. So it goes 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, and most modern music has that kind of structure.
Okay.
So as long as the tempo is correct, you can actually, West Coast Swing can theoretically be danced to any type of 4-beat music.
Okay, so it just determines how fast or slow you go, I guess.
Yes, and that's what really, I guess that's the appeal of West Coast Swing. It's so easy to relate to. You don't need to force yourself to like a particular type of music to do the dance. You can actually dance to songs which you already like, songs, you know, if you listen to 91.3 or 98.7.
Yeah.
All right, I like these songs, and you can West Coast Swing to them.
Okay.
Melissa, let me ask you about the improvisation, because there is a lot of it. Does that make it more difficult for partners to get together? I mean, what are the challenges there?
Absolutely. Well, the lure for me of the dance is that challenge. Absolutely. So it's just like a great interview where, you know, it really is, where the listening skills have to be fine-tuned and really be able to play off one another. Absolutely. So that's the challenge for me. You know, I come from a very structured dance background, from ballet and all of that, but this is why I love West Coast Swing, because it is very challenging, but extremely fun, and that's the lure.
Well, what makes West Coast swing distinctive? Like, how do you pick out a West Coast swing dancer that's doing West Coast swing on the dance floor?
Especially because you know there are so many genres involved. I mean,
Yeah.
how can you really say that's West Coast swing?
I think West Coast swing is still a swing dance form. That means there is a kind of rubber banding effect in what you call a slot.
Okay.
So you'll see the lady shoot up and down the slot that way. But what makes it distinctive from the other forms of swing also is that West Coast swing tends to be more upright, more fluid, and it really kind of incorporates the laid-back, relaxed culture of the West Coast.
Okay. I see. Well, we're going to get a sample a bit later on, but how is it different to other forms of, say, street dance, a Latin dance, or even ballroom dancing?
Well,
I mean, it's not rigid at all, is it?
We do have some rigidity, some structure. If you watch West Coast swing, you'll see a little bit of a structure.
Right.
But when you look at a waltz, there's a very definite structure that's happening.
Yes.
It doesn't change.
Yes.
There's not too much improvisation going on there.
Yeah.
Salsa as well. You see a certain structure there. West Coast swing, you may see something that looks very, long and elongated, or very quick and hip-hoppy. It has a lot more variation than most other structured dances, in my opinion.
You can almost think of it like a lot of other partner dancers. When a lead is presented, the structure is quite stiff. So the follow has really very little room to play. Whereas in West Coast swing, when a lead is offered, the structure is much wider, because West Coast swing is a lot more open. It's always danced in what they call an open connection, rather than a closed connection.
Okay.
So that gives the lady a lot more room to play with her feet or her hips or her free arm. Yeah, and that's what allows the improvisation to start occurring.
So Z, I gather you've taken part in several competitions and done quite well. And
yes, that's right.
But what are people actually looking for in a good performance of West Coast dance swing?
I feel like people are really looking for that ability of the dancers to relate to the music. West Coast swing is known as being one of the most musical social dances, where the dancers are almost always like interpreting things in the lyrics, dancing to the song, and it's very musical because of the structure of the dance, which allows for that musical interpretation. So I think one of the things that people always look for is that show, which makes them almost brings out the mood of the music and the emotion in the music.
And also it's gained popularity around the world. It's even arrived on the shores of Singapore quite some years ago, I'm sure. What is its appeal globally?
I think it comes back to the music. By the way, Singapore is doing an amazing job in this. They're taking charge of Asia and West Coast swing. But when I first started, it was only pretty much localized in the United States. Then it started to move to England and then France. And now we've got just some of the competitions we do. In France, there's 23, 24 countries represented. And now Asia, we've got Korea, Japan, Singapore. Iceland. Down south in Brazil, Argentina, Peru. We're really, and I think the attraction is because people can dance something with a partner to music they hear on the radio.
Yeah.
That's the way Lindy Hop started. That's the way Charleston started in the 20s. People want to express what they do to the music that's happening at that time. And because we have such a diverse range of music possibilities in West Coast swing, it becomes very popular.
Can you even dance West Coast swing to, say, salsa music?
Yes, we can.
Can.
The only one that we can't is what we call 3/4-10, which is like waltz rhythm.
Okay.
Yeah, it goes
Right.
doom, ta, doom.
Right. Okay.
Yeah.
Very interesting. Okay.
Thank you very much indeed for joining us on the show. We're going to get you to do a little demonstration for us in just a moment, but we'll just sign off for now. That was Chuck, Melissa and Z on the appeal of the West Coast swing, which you might not know is the official state dance of California in the United States.
Meanwhile, we have to wrap up the program this Monday morning. Happening tomorrow on AM Live, we'll get to meet someone who fights against human trafficking, as well as cast members of the Slover Snow Show. So be sure to tune in bright and early tomorrow. And to end our program today, Z and Melissa are going to show us the West Coast swing. Take it away, guys.
See the sunset in your eyes, see the thorn twist in your side, and I wait for you. And sleight of hand and twist of fate, on a bed of nails she makes me wait. and I'll wait without you, with or without you, with or without you. Through the storm we reach the shore.